What's up there, beautiful people? I am so excited to be here. So first and foremost, if you're tuning in with me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. I would love to hear your biggest reflections, your biggest insights, your biggest takeaways from either day 1 or day 2 of this challenge. If you're tuning into the video and you have no idea what's going on, you have no idea who I am, you have no idea what 20K by Christmas challenge is, let me very quickly and very briefly fill you in. Last week, everything is a blur. But last week, I had an idea to run this challenge inside of our global Enagic team. It's also been a focus point for the work that I do with my private coaching clients. And then over the weekend, I had a genius idea. Why not make it available to everybody, right? Because I have so much to give. I have so much to share. And in this season of life, I have no desire, no intention of hoarding that genius. And so I decided to make this challenge available to public. So the idea is, how do you create new money on demand without adding shit ton of work to your plate? That's the focus. The goal, whether you set your goal as 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, 100,000, honestly, it does not matter. The principles that we are talking about apply regardless, because I am essentially taking you through the exact same framework, the exact same equation that has helped me and hundreds of my clients over the years to take nothing, right? An idea, a vision, a desire, and turn it into something, right? In a form of clients, opportunities, invitations, money in the bank, you name it. Concepts are the same, framework is the same. Take it, apply it inside of your personal context. Whatever you're working on, whatever your current goal is, right? If you have no idea who I am as a person, hi, my name is Maria, and I've spent the last 18 years of my life as a coach and as a mentor to leaders from all over the world across 3 different industries. My first career was in professional ballroom dancing. I was a high performance coach for competitive couples. Then I moved into marketing and advertising. I have a degree in PR and advertising, a master's degree. Not that it gives me much, but I do have it. And then eventually I moved into entrepreneurship and supporting entrepreneurs, service providers, leaders in creating the kind of businesses and the kind of lifestyles that they absolutely love waking up to each and every single morning. I love sales. It's one of my all-time favorite things to talk about. And I've done a lot of sales. I've made a lot of sales. I've made a lot of money making sales. And here's what I see over and over and over. You can be doing all the inner work. You can be doing all the healing work. You can be doing all of your manifestation work. You can be chasing all the trends. And unless you know how to effectively and authentically sell what it is that you do out in the world, not much is going to shift and change sustainably. Sure, you could make quick cash over here, and sure, you can have some easy wins over here, but in terms of you actually taking control of the destiny, if you wish, you want to master the skill set of sales. And this is what this challenge is about. This is not a manifestation challenge. I keep saying that, even though, yes, as we do this work, money could hypothetically appear out of nowhere and life could hypothetically surprise and delight you. This is ultimately a sales challenge. This is a very practical, action-driven, momentum-building challenge. We're on day 3, we're on part 3, okay? So day 1, we talked about cultivating certainty, because if you say, look, I wanna make 20K in new money before Christmas, the first thing that you absolutely need, that is essential, is a prerequisite, is belief that that's gonna be so, right? You need to have certainty in your desired outcome. That's what day 1 was all about. Yesterday, we talked about what makes magnetic sales. Like, how do you take this topic that's oftentimes sticky and uncomfortable and so full of all kinds of emotions for people, and how do you make it a natural extension of who you are so that it feels authentic, it feels loving, it feels easy, and you make yourself available for new opportunities, new energy, new people, new resources to come to you. That's what yesterday was about. Today, we're going to get real practical. And if you don't have your accompanying playbook for this challenge yet, but you want to participate, DM me the word challenge so that I can get it over to you, because it's essentially a distillation of 20 years of experience in one Google Doc, and it's my gift to you. It has all the key insights, key concepts that I'm teaching. It also has all the worksheets, exercises that I'm inviting you to do. My only ask, well, I have two asks. First, do not share it, okay? Don't be that lame person that takes someone else's IP and then, goes out there and makes it their own, or just begins like sharing randomly with people. And my second ask is that do the work, like actually apply the stuff that I'm giving to you. Because yesterday someone commented on my training that training is worth $1 million, and it is because this is 2 decades in the making. So it is my gift to you. Just please be a decent person. I know we all value integrity, but I just, disclaimer, little asterisk. Now, here is the thing that it baffles me. I think that's the word. It does not compute in my head. And it happens so often because I talk to a lot of people naturally in my profession as a coach, as a mentor. I always am in conversations with people. I think by this point I had like 5,000 something coaching and sales conversations according to my Zoom records, right? But I'm always talking to people. And here's the thing that I do not understand, okay? Tell me if you see yourself in it. And if you feel lovingly called out, it's for your benefit. So just please know I'm saying this with so much love, and it does not make much sense, which is this. Oftentimes, people set financial goals, they set revenue goals, and they have these really big, really exciting numbers that they want to hit. And it's not random because they see people doing it. They're like, if they can do it, I can do it. And so they're setting those numbers based on the glimpses of what they know is possible and of these visions that they have for themselves. And so they set those goals and then they never figure out the math. Like they never actually sit down and crunch the numbers. So what this looks like is they say, oh, I want to make $20,000 before Christmas. Great. Have you done the math? Like, how are you actually going to do that? They say, oh, I want to be a millionaire. I was like, great. I love that for you. I'm cheering you on. But have you actually done the numbers? Like, how are you going to do that? What's your plan? And oftentimes people, right, they just set the goal, cross their fingers, and keep doing what they're doing, hoping that when the end of the month or the end of the quarter or the end of the year comes, they're gonna be where they desire themselves to be. And somehow the numbers are just gonna magically add up to this figure that they have in their head. And I don't know what they're hoping for and what they're relying on, but it happens all the time. And it's one of those things that common sense ain't common practice, right? Because when we set financial goals and we don't create a plan, it's kind of like saying, I want to bake a cake, but you have no idea if you have any flour or eggs in the kitchen, right? It's kind of like getting on a plane and saying you want to fly over to Paris, having no idea how much fuel you have. It's like saying you want to grow a garden, right? But you never plant any seeds. You just expect things to magically sprout, even though you did not plant any seeds. It makes no sense. And here is what I'm gonna keep repeating over and over and over. My clients are probably sick of me, but I always say your vision and your goals, especially your financial goals, they are not a place for you to get to. They're a place for you to start from. I'm going to say that again. They're not a place for you to get to. They are a place for you to start from. That's where you want to start building from. Okay, what does this mean? If you have a certain financial goal, in the context of this challenge, the goal is $20,000 by Christmas, right? So let's say that's the goal. Great, you wanna make a plan, you wanna work the plan, you wanna collect enough data and enough lived experience to then refine the plan and then repeat the process all over again. So my invitation, as we continue to get more and more practical and more hands-on in this challenge, is for you to do two things. First, bring your emotional maturity to the conversation. Two, bring your business acumen to the conversation. Let's remove ambiguity from this equation because ambiguity is exhausting. Whereas all this like potential and it's all over the place, it feels tiring and it feels chaotic. We want to take that potential, we want to channel it into clarity and specificity so that every day you wake up and you know exactly what you need to do, why you need to do that, and then you have full knowing and self-trust that if you keep doing this thing, that it's gonna take you to where you're desiring to go because you mapped it out based on your actual desire and your actual goal. So what does this look like in the context of sales? Here's the question. Okay, pay attention. Here's the question. The question is, do you have an offer or offers that if you sold enough times today, this week, this month, that you would hit your goal? Okay, I'm going to repeat the question. Do you have an offer or offers that if you just sold them enough times today, this week, this month, that would ensure you hit your goal? Yes or no answer. If you answered no, awesome, congrats. That's what today is about. If you answered yes, the follow-up question is, why aren't you selling enough then? If you have an offer or you have an offers that if you just sold those things, you would hit your goals, then why are you not selling that thing? Okay, congrats. That's what today is also about. So you're in the right place at the right time. This conversation that we're going to have today is a conversation that honestly, if you've been in business, if you've ever worked with any business coach, marketing coach, sales coach, you name it, it's one of those conversations that seems to be never ending. Who are you working with? What do you help them do? What problem do you solve? What solution you provide? And it's the same thing over and over. And yet so many people still struggle with offer clarity and with creating what I call offers that sell themselves. We want to understand what goes into creating offers that sell themselves. You just kind of put them out there and they're working, right? They're selling. That's not random. It's not a coincidence. There is an actual art and science to it. This is what we're going to talk about today. And my intention is to not beat the dead horse with a stick and have the same conversation that every single expert on Instagram tells you or every coach tells you to do, but approach it from the back door, if you wish, right? And take a different angle so that you can look at it with a fresh perspective and get excited. The first thing, okay, is you want to take a look at your goal. And let's say we're working in the context of this challenge, then the goal is 20K by Christmas. And you want to go, okay, what kind of combination would get me there? Again, this is one of those oversimplified math equations, but you do want to have some sort of understanding of what your possibilities and what your probabilities are. For example, you could sell 10 offers at $2,000 each. That would lead to 20K over the next 2-something months, a little less. You could sell 5 offers worth $4,000 each. You could sell 2 offers worth $10,000 each, or you could sell 1 offer worth $20,000. One is not better than the other, one is not wrong, and one is right. It's really just for you to start crunching your numbers and seeing what your options are. The same applies, because I know a lot of you watching, you don't have your own offer, you partner with an offer. So you are either a salesperson and you're selling someone else's offer, or you are in an affiliate marketing space where you partner with an offer and you essentially become that middle man or a middle woman connecting people with a problem and a solution, and then in that connection you make a commission. Same thing, you want to do the math and crunch the numbers based on your commissions. That doesn't change. So no, the entire conversation today, even if you don't have your own offers that you created, is applicable across the board. So you want to do that math and you want to take a look based on what you have or don't have, what your options are, because you will start to see where your energy should actually go. Because let's say there's a hypothetical example where your goal is 20,000, same goal, but your current offer or your current commission is $200. Let's just say your commission is $200. On the surface, $200, great, decent money, right? You can go out to dinner or do whatever you do for $200. But that means that you will have to enroll and sell 100 of those things over the next month and a half. And if right now you're struggling to sell 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, needing to sell 100 seems a little like heavy, mildly put. It feels heavy. It feels torturous. If you can't even sell 5, how the fuck are you going to sell 100? And so when you start crunching out the numbers and doing very simple math, you can see where your energy should be placed. That's first. You want to know what offer or offers have highest degree of potential. How can you do the least while making the most amount of impact in someone's life and at the same time earning the most? That's the equation. How can I do the least, make the biggest difference, and also earn the most in the process? Not how can I give myself shit ton of work for a very tiny little return. We want to do the opposite of that. And before we can talk about how do you actually get out there and how do you sell more, because that's ultimately what we're here for. How can you sell more and how can you sell with greater ease? We want to really understand what makes an offer that sells itself. What are the ingredients that go into that recipe? Because when you have the math, great, that shows you what's possible. You're like, okay, if it was up to me, I would just sell one package of 20,000. If it was up to me. But I also have done that in the past. I don't feel any kind of friction or resistance around it. I have a package worth that much, so I really just need to make one sale and it's done, right? But if you've never done that before, you might have more doubt or hesitance or fear around that, which would have to explore a little bit. But if math shows you possibilities, what really determines the probability of whether or not that offer is going to work is your messaging. What are the words that you use to describe what it is? What are the words that go hand in hand with that offer? Do they clearly articulate the value? And then is your energetic congruence on board with that? Does your energy match the words that you are saying? We talked about that yesterday, right? The importance of having energetic congruence. You want to make sure, right, that those things are on the same page. They all pointed in the same direction. Otherwise, you're going to have a conflict. And so I said something yesterday that some of you caught, some of you didn't. But you can have the most amazing offer in the world. Again, it can be your offer or you can be partnering with the most amazing offer in the world. Life-changing. Equivalent to the cure for cancer. That's how freaking good the offer is. But if people don't understand it, if people don't know it exists, and if people don't feel safe around it, it won't sell. I'm going to say that again. You can have the most amazing, the most incredible, the most life-changing offer out there, but if people don't understand it, if they don't know it exists, and they don't feel safe around that offer, it won't sell. Because people don't necessarily buy the best offer out there. They buy an offer that they can understand the best. They buy an offer that they feel deeply. And what they feel deeply is safety and expansion and possibility. They believe that if and when they buy this thing, it's gonna make their life experience, their business infinitely better. That's why they buy into it. And so let me say it differently. The only reason people don't buy what you have because of cognitive friction, right? There's friction in their mind. Their mind is confused when they look at that thing. It's too difficult to understand. It's complicated. It's confusing. And a confused mind will always say no. So there's friction right here. They're trying to make sense of it, but they can't. Or it's taking them too long. The second reason they don't buy what you have is because of emotional friction. They either don't trust it, or they don't trust you, or they don't trust themselves, or either they don't feel safe. They don't feel safe with you. They don't feel safe to decide. They just don't feel safe. So there is friction happening for them at the level of their mind and at the level of their heart. And because there is friction and confusion, they end up saying no. As simple as that. They don't get it. They say no. It's taking them too long to figure it out. They're going to say no. They don't feel good about it. They're going to say no. And so this is why the common sort of coaching around offer clarity and around sales falls short, because we've heard a million times, you need to get clear on your ideal client avatar. You need to get clear on the problem that you solve. You need to get clear on the solution that you provide. You need to get clear on why they should care about it. Blah, 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 blah. And we still struggling selling the thing that we believe is the best thing. Why does that happen, right? Because technically on the surface, it's so simple. Just get clear, make sure there is no friction. You should be good to go, right? Now, I will be proactive and say, I don't know if you should work with the offer that you have, or perhaps you need a new offer. Sometimes you do need a new offer. Sometimes you need to say, you know what, the math is not mathing over here. I need myself a new offer. Sometimes you really do need to do that, right? Sometimes you need to say, the math isn't mathing over here. I need myself a new business model. Sometimes you do need to switch it up. Sometimes you need to double down on the offer that you have. You have that answer. Your future self has that answer. So make sure you do the exercise that I shared with you on day one and keep building that relationship with the future version of you who's hit the goal that you have, because they will have the answer, and they tell you if you should pursue this offer or you should actually pursue a different path. And also get some support if that makes sense. Get some guidance, get some mentorship, get some support around it. But more often than not, and this is purely based on my experience working with clients, building my own business, more often than not, the offer itself is not the problem. Your friction around it is the problem. The offer itself is fine, but the packaging around it, in the form of branding, in the form of copy, in the form of emotional experience that you have around it, there's friction there. It's too difficult for people to understand, it's too vague for people to trust it, and it's too complicated for them to act on. So if they can't get it, if it's too vague, the energy is kind of all over the place, and it's complicated for them to figure out what the next step is and if it's worth it, they're not going to do it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to audit your offers. And again, if you don't have your playbook, DM me the word challenge so that I can get you the playbook. All of this is in the playbook. This way you don't have to try and take notes and whatnot. All of that is in there. But the first thing that you want to do is take your current offer or current offers, and you want to do an audit. You want to see if they have the necessary components in order to be a self-selling offer. First, you want to look at how quickly people can understand it. In other words, can someone understand what it is in 10 seconds or less? If they look at it, if they read the little tagline, do they understand what it is or not? Because if it takes too long, if it takes too many mental calories for them to figure out what the thing is, you lost the moment. And we want to make sure that our offers, right, either again, our own offers that we own or the offers that we partner with, we want to make sure that the moment someone sees that thing, they can go, oh, that's for me. That doesn't mean they will buy it, but in a split moment, you want to help them make a decision, yes, no. And so for that, take your current offers, put them through that speed of understanding test. The second thing that you want to audit is the safety around decision making. Do people feel safe to say yes? Okay. Do they feel seen? Do they feel understood? Do they feel supported in taking the leap? Because people are not going to buy if they feel confused or anxious. They're going to buy when they feel calm and confident. Even if they are scared, they can be scared. It could be a big commitment. It could be a really big investment for them. It could require them to get really creative and really resourceful and to figure things out. This oftentimes happens in our online business, right? When people see the business, they catch the vision, they really want to do it, and then they have to figure out their initial startup capital. And so they can still have the nerves and the fear around it, but they need to feel calm and confident that they're making the right decision for themselves. And then the third thing that you want to audit your offers through, is it simple for them to act on it? Do they know what the clear next step is? Can they make decision today? Can they buy from you today? If they wanted to work with you, can they do it today? Can they do it now? Where do they go? What do they do? And how simple and obstacle-less is that path? Because if there are a lot of hoops that they have to jump through in order to give you their money, it's not going to happen. And so things really do begin to click when people can understand quickly, they feel safe making the decision, and their next action step is clear and simple. We do need those three things. All self-selling offers, right? Offer that is so good it sells itself. That's what it means. They share these three traits. First, this offer is for people that you adore working with. This is for people that you wouldn't mind having at your dinner party, at your dinner table. These are the people that you love, that you respect, people that inspire you. And in working together, it creates a mutually enriching, mutually beneficial, mutually expansive relationship. It's a win-win. The second thing is, you as the provider of that offer, or you as the affiliate for that offer, or you as the salesperson of that offer, you can deliver results and you can stand behind those results with full and absolute conviction. You want to have not a single ounce of doubt in your body about whether this stuff works or not. I'm not saying you're promising results you can't deliver. I'm not saying you want to be able to guarantee the results, but you do need to have internal confidence that what you do and what you provide works, right? There is value, there is worth, there is impact, there is change, there is results. And then the third trait is you can express it so simply they can see themselves in it. Because oftentimes what happens, you can have an amazing offer, but your marketing message around it is so complicated, they cannot see themselves in it. Your jargon around it is like, it makes no sense. What does that mean to a normal person? They can't see themselves in it because you're talking your language, not their language. And because you're talking your language, not their language, there's a disconnect. So it might be the exact thing that they are looking for, praying for, asking for, and they don't know that it exists in the form of you and what you offer because the message is unclear. The message doesn't speak the language. Now, this is a controversial opinion a little bit, but if you have an amazing offer, or you think you have an amazing offer, but your sales are still inconsistent. First of all, it's not because your offer is broken. It's not because you're not talented or you're not worthy. Most likely, your offer is built on the wrong foundation. I'm going to explain what I mean in just a second. This applies to your offer itself, and this is also applies to your marketing. This will be especially relevant on the marketing side of things for everyone who's an affiliate, right? So if you affiliate with a product, if you represent a product, right, or you're in the field of affiliate marketing, the same applies, just not on the offer side of things, but on the marketing side of things. Like, how are you marketing? How are you promoting it? Okay? There are three types of offers. There is first, interest-based offer, meaning you create an offer based on what excites you right now. This is something that interests you. This is something that you personally are passionate about. This is something that you want to learn more about. And these interest-driven offers, oftentimes, they are born out of novelty, out of curiosity, out of desire to recreate yourself. And there is a lot of high creative energy, but there is low consistency. It feels really fun in the beginning when you first get started, but it's actually really hard to sustain because it lacks depth. And because it lacks depth, you're not gonna stick with it. Because it's your personal interest, it's your personal passion, it's what you are excited about, what you're gonna be sharing is gonna be hypothetical. It's gonna be a hypothetical knowledge. It's gonna be hypothetical understanding. It's something that you will feel like you will have to memorize or fake because it's just an interest. You have not mastered it. This is for all of my newbie coaches, especially in the room. A lot of people, for example, go into coaching because that's what they are interested in. That's not necessarily what they are experts and masters in. And then they wonder why they can't make it work. Well, you can't make it work because you don't have solid foundations. Your audience can see and can feel the inconsistency, the uncertainty that you yourself hold around it. And because it's not something that you've mastered, it's purely something that you are interested in, something that you resonate with, something that you want to learn more about. Truthfully, it's what you need, not what your people need from you. You are gonna second guess yourself a lot. You're gonna feel like an imposter a lot. You're gonna go back and forth on your pricing. You're gonna doubt your authority a lot, and justifiably so, right? Because it's your interest, it's not your area of expertise, right? And I'm not saying don't create offers based on your interest. I'm saying don't create offers based on your interest if you're still financially unstable in your business. This is the problem that I have with the message of monetize your passion. If you don't have solid financial foundations in place, your journey of trying to monetize your passion and trying to monetize your interest is going to be so stressful. Your nervous system is going to be all out of whack. And it's going to be a lot harder than what you probably anticipate. That's the downfall of interest-based offers. Again, I want to be really clear. I'm not discouraging you. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying don't do that if you're trying to still stabilize financially. Because if your financial needs are taken care of, experiment all you want. Get creative, launch things for the sake of launching them, create for the sake of creating, make art for the sake of making art. But if your livelihood is at risk, you need something that has a little bit more of a stable footing underneath it. Does that make sense? Which brings us to the second type of offer. The second offer is a skill-based offer. So your skill-based offer is something that you are really good at. It's built around something that you do really, really well. And it's based on some form of either expertise or professional background. When you're in that skill that you have, you know how to deliver results. It's just, this is the caveat, most likely it lacks emotional connection. You do it well, you just don't love it. You do it really well, it just doesn't give you that spark. And we've all done things that we truthfully would rather not do, but the money was good, so we did the thing because we know how to do it. And so your skill-based offers, they are really good offers that will get you clients. For you, most likely gonna feel a little transactional, right? It's kind of like, okay, client, deliver, done. Right? You're not going to be particularly lit up about it. You're not really going to feel like you're being of massive service and you're feeling really fulfilled and satisfied. And most likely long term, you will not want to do that because it's going to lack that emotional connection for you and emotional fulfillment. Skill-based offers, right? Offers based on something that you're really, really good at. They can be really good, really dependable cash generator. So don't shy away. Don't, like, oh no, I'm too good for this. Again, if you need to cover your bases, if you need to take care of yourself, there is absolutely no shame in creating a skill-based offer based on something that you're really, really good at to make sure that your needs and desires are taken care of. And then from that stable, provided for, regulated space, you can then go and experiment and create, but you're not gonna have that undertone of pressure breathing down your neck, figuring out how the fuck you're gonna survive this month. Does that make sense? And oftentimes, especially again in the space of transformation, coaching, personal growth, we almost like have this entitlement, like, oh no, I'm gonna pursue my passion over here. And no, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta take the skills that you have and package them and do a really good job and make really solid money so that you can fund your passions and your interests and all the other things that you want to create. That's second. Third, my favorites. This is my favorite, okay? The third type of offer is your embodied mastery offer. Your embodied mastery offer is the stuff that you know in your bones. This is the stuff that you could be woken up in the middle of the night and you could still do it. You are so masterful at the thing that you could do it blindfolded. That's how good you are. Not just because you have a skill and because you have some intellectual understanding, but because you've lived through it. You've embodied it, you've walked the path, you mastered it, and you can teach it, you can facilitate it, you can share it, and it's no longer theoretical. It's like, no, it's who I am. It's not even what I do, it's who I am. And there is this certainty around it. You're relaxed in it. You don't have to prove, you don't have to perform. You're like, no, I lived through that stuff. I know it in and out. I can talk about it now. You can throw at me any question and I will probably have enough lived experience and enough understanding to unpack it. And so when you are in that embodied mastery, you can explain it. People can sense your conviction, your energy sells it before you even say any words. And those kinds of offers usually evolve with you. Their packaging might change, their shape changes, but it's the same thing over and over and over, and they continue evolve as you evolve. That's your what's called body of work. That's the thing that you are here to birth. That's where your prosperity and your fulfillment get to coexist. And so if you look at the 3 different offers, first your interest-based offer, skill-based offer, mastery-based offer, and now you have this financial goal over here and you have 3 types of offers. Which one does your emotional maturity and your business acumen tell you should focus on? Pretty straightforward, right? You probably should not go into an interest-based offer because that has the most uncertainty. Those foundations are the least stable. You probably want to double down on where your mastery is. You want to double down on something that you know in and out, that you have really solid skill in it. You want to take your existing offers through that audit. Then you want to take an offer that you think is the best offer for you in this season, and you want to make sure that it has all the necessary components for it to sell itself. I'm going to briefly walk you through them, what they are. They're all in your playbook. You can go in there, geek out. But first, you do want to have clarity. Who is it for? What is it? And why does it matter? The more simple you can be about it, the better. Again, people want to understand in the first 10 seconds. If it takes them longer than that, you've already lost. So you don't want to say, I help spiritually mature women activate their abundance code through, like, what does that mean? Does it mean that you help them add an extra 10K a month without running any ads? That I understand. Spiritually mature women activating abundance codes, I don't know what that means. It sounds good, I just don't know what it means. So we want to be clear, and if a 6-year-old can't understand it, it's too complicated. The second thing is credibility. Do you have receipts to show for it? Why should people trust you? Can you show me results? Can you show me proof? Can you show me lived experience? I want to know, have you done this before? Have you mastered this before? Have you taken people through this before? Do you have receipts? Or you're brand new and you're just making it sound important. Again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being brand new. I'm just saying that you want to do it consciously. You want to be aware that you're brand new, and so you probably don't want to inflate the results that you have not actually delivered. Number 3, you want to have commitment expectations. You want to be transparent. What's the investment of time, energy, and money? What is the work actually going to look like? Because the more clear you can be upfront, the more you're going to avoid resentment later. We've all stepped into programs that we've been promised the world, and we all walked out of those programs with nothing. Maybe because we didn't take any action, maybe because the marketing was fantastic, but the fulfillment was horrible. What I'm saying is the more transparent you can be around what it's actually going to take, the better off you're going to be. And then number 5, I think this is number 5, is your conversion path. What is the next clear step? Where do you want people to go? What do you want them to do? What's going to happen? What can they expect, right? Because if the next step is not obvious, if they can't buy from you today, if they can't work with you today, then it's just not clear enough. You want to be able to always say, okay, DM me this, book this link here, go here, download this, like very clear directions so that people, again, they know where to go and what to do. And once you take your offer through those clarifications, and let's say you're like, no, I feel really good about it, I'm clear, I've got receipts to show, I'm clear on the commitment, I am clear on what the container actually looks like, I'm clear on what the timeline actually looks like, I'm clear on the path that I need to take them on, then you want to craft a 1-sentence promise. I know we all hate the elevator speeches. I do too. And I'm inviting you to do this not so you can now tell it to every stranger you meet, but so that for your own sake, you are not being ambiguous and vague around it. You want to be able to very clearly articulate who do you help, with what specific results, without what kind of hated cost, using what kind of mechanism, and what is their expected win? Who is it? Women. Okay, is it women that are moms, that are working in medicine? That's a lot more specific than women. Is it specific results? Is it you help them make a certain amount, create a certain transformation? What is the specificity? Is it that you help them scale their time back and you do it by creating an online business and they don't need any prior experience and they can make $2,500 to $7,000 per sale, and they have a sales team working on their behalf, and the big win is you can be present with your family and create the kind of financial foundations for generations to come? Like, is that right? We want to be specific, and again, this is in your playbook so you can play around with it. And then once you have your sentence, you ultimately want to go, cool, I need to do a 10-second test. When I say it out loud, do people understand what this means? Because if I say it out loud and people don't understand what it means, back to the drawing board we go. You want to be able to say it to a friend, and then your friend needs to be able to very clearly say it to somebody else and explain what it is that you do. If your friend can't pass your information along, back to the drawing board. And then you want to make sure that kind of passes the 1-story test. Can you put it up on 1-story slide in your Instagram and your Facebook, right? Just 1-story slide. And will that be enough information for people to want to reach out to you? If it's unclear, confusing, too complicated, right? Back to the drawing board. So I told you we're going to get practical. To recap, if you want to make more money, you need to sell more. In order to sell more, you need to have self-selling offers, meaning offers that sell themselves. What makes an offer sell itself? It's an offer that is easy to understand, that speaks to your person, that has a clear next step, that you are uniquely qualified to deliver because you can deliver results and there is no emotional or mental friction around it. The way you do that is by going, okay, is it an interest offer, skill offer, mastery offer? Great. Then put it through the audit. Make sure that you have a really strong spine to that offer. Think about it. For us, our spine is the most important. It's what gives us the center of gravity, right? Because if our spine is out of whack, everything else is out of whack. Kind of like same idea here. You want to make sure that your offer spine is solid, and then you want to put it to the test. Because if you want to make more money, let's not just sit there and hope that we somehow gonna do it, right? But let's actually figure out what your plan is so that you can work that plan. And one of the core ingredients inside of that plan is, what is the offer that you're gonna be selling? What is the offer that you can double down on? And does the math actually make sense? Is the math mathing over here? And then once you are clear on what your offer is and how many you need to sell, you want to go, okay, how am I gonna do that? I know what it is. I know why this particular offer. How am I gonna do that? Well, that's what tomorrow is about. Cliffhanger. So that's all I got for you today. I hope it was valuable. I hope it was supportive. I would love to hear biggest takeaways, biggest insights. You have all of this inside of your playbook. So give yourself the gift of setting aside some uninterrupted time so you can put yourself through that process so that you know exactly what offer you're going to be doubling down on in order to make the 20K by Christmas. If you want some support, please reach out. I'm here, I'm available. If you have questions, please reach out. Otherwise, I'm going to see you all back tomorrow as we continue to get practical and hands-on in answering the question. Now that I have emotional conviction and certainty in my desired outcome, and I have made myself energetically available to be magnetic in my sales, I have an offer that I stand behind that sells itself. Great. The next step is for us to actually map out what your sales plan is gonna be, so you can then go ahead and work the plan. On that note, I love you all. Go be your fabulous self. I cannot wait to hear your reflections, and